Okay, my channel mammals and my strangers, we're coming up to chapter 8 now. And they're only, what, 9? 10? Okay. Well, I hope the thought is thickening, because it is. The plot, not the thought. The application of the transfer presented challenges. Oh my gosh, I'll never forget this. Because so we went from the decal company, which was a huge challenge, to the potteries, where they actually had to apply the decals or the transfers. And Franco was the head guy there. And oh, it was really funny. He was so wonderful, but he could not get a hold of this idea. You see, in the potteries, it was only hand painting, only. And this is was a whole new thing. So the application of the transfer presented challenges to Franco, who had never practiced the skill before. He had never applied decals and required hours and hours of instruction. And even then, he would not accept that water had to be boiled in winter to soften the film and warm the dishes so that they could bond. So he had to put the dishes in a kiln to warm them and boil water to warm the film, the transfer. I mean, it was just beyond his wildest imagination. They didn't even have much in the way of boiled water or anything. They worked in an unheated studio, and mistake after mistake seemed not to matter. That was the killer for me. I can't stand to see waste. All the teaching could not awaken them. It was a studio of men, which I think are the only species that comes out during the day. I was always the only woman in sight anywhere. Franco's daughter, Chiara, ordered the materials, but after that, it was only Babbo, Franco, Marcello, Mauro, and Marco. And me. And I would say I, but I just had to have another M in there. Chiara told me through cryptic charades, because we didn't speak each other's language, it was because I am a woman that they will not follow my instruction. And I really don't, I never believed that. I believe these men wanted to be successful. They wanted to do the right thing. They loved us, and they loved our ideas. They just couldn't grasp it. We continued to muddle through the mire of this labyrinth of thoughtless patterns. Oh, always hitting a wall with every corner. We kept hoping and trying and even doing the production work ourselves, but paying them just in hope for a chance in the working environment. I even took the transfers back to my cloisters at night to cut them, because they would slice right through the patterns and apply them as broken parts, or toss them onto the muddy floor. These very expensive ceramic prints. It was breaking my heart to see such abuse and disrespect for materials. Oh, and they would leave the piles of transfers in a rubble heap right near the fire of the kiln, which dried them out and made them brittle and impossible to apply. Then blamed the designs for the impossibility of application. Well, it was not long, and they finally threw in the towel. The work was too difficult. End of chapter 8. So chapter 9. Okay. We searched and pleaded throughout Italy and even Portugal We made a special trip to Portugal. And you know what the Portuguese told us? They said, Victoria and Richard MacKenzie-Childs, you have been the bane of our existence for the last 20 years. Because we were so popular that people were ordering our things over their potteries. And I never knew that. They knew that they knew who we were or knew anything about the American market. It was really amazing. But it was sweet. They were lovely people, just lovely. I loved all of them. I loved the Italians too. They were just adorable. It's just that working with them was another story. Okay, so we pleaded throughout Italy and even Portugal, but no one would take this work on. I could not understand how a nation with little work, high unemployment, a great history of artistry, could turn down the opportunity to embrace this project, filling their own need as well as cementing beauty into their mark on the modern world. Wouldn't that have been amazing? We had introduced it already in America, where we had committed to continue since many were collected. I held my heart mentally in God's hand. Just as I stood in the soft light of spring, in the cool ice on the edge of the wind, I heard something strange coming out of a truck, which passed by on the dirt road which rimmed the potteries. What was it? What were they saying? It was an electric megaphone speaking in harsh Italian shouts. I knew it. I had heard it before. This time it was there, just in time to answer my question, reminding me of the Communist Party chant, which reigns, entertains, and deranges the Italian workers' mentality veiled in Socialist Party dress. So it seemed our Italian inspirational sojourn, as expressed through Superfluous and its infinite variations, had dissolved in the dust as the truck of Italian stallions rumbled by, sweeping our last 3 coins into a dried-up fountain. Chapter 10. We packed our trunks and trundled off to China. The China so disdained by the crumbled European and American chains of dreams, which, as nations of originally hard-working, creative, and humble folk, broke all by themselves. The China where it all began was the China which we were forced to begin again amidst a politically incorrect mist. There we met, in the heart of the ancient origins of the China tableware from many centuries ago, where China was a center of trade and ceramic science. It was there that we found a family of 3 brothers who understood ceramics for themselves, not simply as a repeat of history, but as true engineers of science and art. They were not afraid of the experimentation and invention we needed to realize the real essence of this work. They worked tirelessly with us. They never complained. They were not afraid of change, for their very evolution was kindled by generations of life way below the totalitarian regimes which enveloped their political life, but somehow never touched the core of their moral life. They humbly carry on. Their joy is in the fact of uncovering the unknown and moving beyond it again. They understood art with artlessness. So there is where we ended the entry of Superfluous. Traversing the earth, we found a kindred spirit of invention to unearth the earthenware and the wherewithal to make it real. The work is now truly the story of East meets West, ending happily ever after. Finally, the most durable, delightful terracotta, perfectly rendered by hand with a handle on family industry. So there is where we ended the entry of superfluous. Traversing the earth, we found a kindred spirit of innovation to unearth the earthenware and the wherewithal to make it real. The work is now truly the story of East meets West, ending happily ever after. Finally, the most durable, delightful terracotta, perfectly rendered by hand with a handle on family industry, transfers which honor the history of Italy, modeled and modified by the ease of the Chinese naive play with clay, and two travel-tattered American artists who pulled the threads together, tying a bow round the whole of humanity. So my channel mammals, I hope so that these superfluous facts aren't too superfluous. I hope that they've helped all of us enjoy the story of this long enduring being coming into being of this beautiful, beautiful, durable, forever dinnerware. It's just dishes, right? But it's something about a wonderful experience in the world. And why did we leave Italy for China when both are communist? I think the reason is because Italy, the people of Italy, were wanting to be communist. They wanted what was being offered to them. They already had forgotten the regimes of the past. And there's something about working with the Chinese artisans deep in the middle of the countryside, that they are unaffected by all the totalitarian governments that have come in, and I'm sure they've had hard times, and I'm sure they could tell us stories. But the people themselves were undaunted by any outside rule. They were their own little family. They were their own scientists, their own engineers. They couldn't stop being, they were the true Americans. They're the people we want. They're just such a beautiful spirit of giving, kindness, honor, and invention I think I'd seen in a long time. And I was so grateful for the experience. I was sadly shocked that people wanted to blackball the product because it had a little made in China sticker on the back, not understanding the story. So I knew it was my job to tell you the story so that you have the fortification to embrace everything you love. And hearing, at least from us, from our experience, that it was a wonderful experience. And it cost us a fortune to move those heavy models and molds and all the parts, and they're steel banded. They're too heavy for two people to carry. And we had to ship those around the world. I mean, and the decals, oh my gosh, they're in these big boxes. They must weigh at least 200 pounds a box. They're all made of glaze, of course. So they're all minerals, natural materials, and heavy papers, and all kinds of materials there. And they were another huge expense. We're basically selling the product for loss, but we just know the world needs it. It's so practical. We use it every night. It's just a delight. So I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Even if you never have a piece, you'll have a piece of the spirit of invention in your hearts. We'll meet again. I think they had a good idea to have a party. Goodbye, all my channel mammals. Goodbye.